Holy Night Demon Hunters is a 2025 action horror film set in South Korea, written and directed by Lim Dae-hee and starring Don Lee. The film came out April 30th, 2025 and runs for 92 minutes long. This tells the story and it revolves around Holy Night, which is a trio of demon hunters armed with supernatural powers. Now, it's present day in Seoul, and the city is thrown into chaos as strange events start happening and start piling up every single area you go to. Ritualistic murders, possessions, and waves of crazy mass hysteria. But no one can figure out what is going on and what's happening. None of it makes sense at all, and people are trying to figure out what's going on. Until one name keeps popping up: the Black Mass, which is a secret cult trying to bring an ancient demon back, Asmodeus, into the world. Now, in order to do that, the regular police can't touch something this supernatural, so to speak. So they call in the only people equipped for this job to do so. It's a mysterious trio known as the Holy Night. Now, the Holy Night is basically Seoul's last line of defense in South Korea against the demonic entities and the ritualistic occurrences and possessions that are happening. Now, the aspect of it is that Bahu leads the team, and he's a rough around the edges powerhouse guy. He leads the charge with his strength, and he has that tragic past that fuels him that he doesn't really talk about a lot, and he's very closed off. Sharon, calm but fierce, is kind of that exorcist who can sense and drive out evil spirits without knowing right what's going on, and she uses her ancient ritualistic practices. And then there's Kim Gun, the brains of the operation, because you always need the brains of the operation when everything is going down that's mass hysteria or supernatural. He's a tech-savvy researcher who kind of documents everything that goes on and connects the dots even without any supernatural gifts. So he doesn't have that supernatural powers that Bahu or Sharon does, but it's interesting how everything takes form. Now, this mission becomes very, very personal in a way wherein a young girl, Inseo, is kind of showing signs of possession. And the way South Korea does possession films is very different, very rare than what you see in any other form of cinematic prowess, because it's just scary, it's interesting, and it's like, oh, didn't think you could do that, but no, here they are doing that. Her older sister, Jung-hoo, is a no-sense. She's a neuropsychiatrist who doesn't believe in the aspect of what's happening, what's going on, and just kind of figuring out things about, what to believe in and what not to believe, and if the Holy Night can actually save certain things. They're always that one skeptic of someone who doesn't believe in the paranormal stuff, but she reaches out to the Holy Night as a last resort. And as the team kind of digs deeper, they uncovering an interesting, scary truth about everything that's going on and what's happening. The Black Mass cult plans to use Insu as a vessel to summon Asmodeus, the demon, in order to bring it back into this world and just wreak havoc. And if they succeed, the entire city and the world is consumed and doomed for all eternity. From start to finish, this film was absolutely a surprise hit for me. Holy Night Demon Hunters starring Don Lee, or Ma Dong-seok, is always good because you know who Don Lee is. He's that big brute action star that you all love and know from Train to Busan, and kind of the aspect of his trilogies and his movies that he does with the Outlaw franchise. And from what it is, this has that scary aspect to it, but then it has also that ritualistic action feel to it. But it's just so well done. And you could sense that somehow, some way, other countries will remake this movie in their own right. But will it be the aspect of being better? Because this is a 92-minute film that flies by very, very fast. And it's just one of those films where it's like, ooh, didn't expect this to be good. But it is absolutely mind-blowingly really well done. There are a lot of South Korean horror movies that really stand the test of time, and some stand out, some don't stand out, but this stands out a lot, and it's very, very well done. The cinematic pacing is really good, how the aspect of the story comes together is really good, and how the writer and director is doing both things at one time. It's just like, wow. Like having the aspect of having 2 movies in 2025 called Demon Hunters is interesting. You have Holy Night Demon Hunters and you have K-pop Demon Hunters. So the aspect of South Korea diving into the Demon Hunter things is really, really good and really, really fun. You just don't know what to expect when you watch movies like this. I love South Korean cinema. I even love their horror films. And not only that, I also love Japanese horror and their cinema as well. So it's a mix of like hijinks, action, fun, moments of emotional sadness, and it's like, whoa, you didn't expect to see how things are done, but the way South Korea does films like this is absolutely immaculate. You have to see it to believe it, and it's a fun time where you don't expect it to be that fun, but when you watch it, you're like, wow, that was entertaining, and you might have to watch it again because you will miss a little certain details and certain things that are happening, but it's all in good fun. For me, Holy Night Demon Hunters gets 5 out of 5 film reels. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about Holy Night Demon Hunters. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What do you think about the aspect of the story, the progression? Do you like movies like this based in other countries that deal with the supernatural? And what do you think about the aspect of the demon hunt culture in 2025 in South Korea? And do you think other countries will remake this movie? And do you want to see a sequel to this? And if you haven't seen it, will you be checking it out now that I reviewed it? So let me know in the comment section about all the questions I just asked. I'm Mr. Filmstock. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next review video.